I think I have some really great ideas about how to finish that coin grabbing mechanism that we've been talking about over the last few videos. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you've been following along this far, you know that I'm trying to build a coin sorting robot that's capable of finding pennies by date. If I could do that, I should be able to easily find coins to add to my own collection. But before we get working on that coin grabber again, I thought we should quickly review some of the things that we've tried so far. I thought I'd do a quick recap of what we've been doing over the last couple of videos because I've recently changed my mind about what direction to proceed. If you've been watching over the last few videos, you'll see that we've gone through all these different versions of a coin grabber that we're using to hold a penny in between two cameras. What we're trying to do is to create a piece for the robot that is in this form factor. It rotates, it's going to be in this position here, and it's going to rotate 3 pennies through different positions on the coin robot. One of those positions is going to hold the penny between 2 cameras. So this is the form factor that we wanted to end up with. We started out by identifying the idea that you can pivot these plastic pieces into position so that they can actually hold on to a penny that's in this hole here. But it has no control over, there's no control over this Z-axis here, and it can bend that way, which we don't want it to do. And then once we kind of recognized that, we worked through a couple of other designs. We realized that we wanted a mechanism to hold and release the penny, so then we ended up with a little handle here that should pivot back and forth. This one didn't print very well, but then we kept going. This part is very similar to the last one, but we added a little bit more control of that Z-axis with the 3rd dimension here, which we talked about in the last video. And that prevents this part from sliding in and out. So we have control over it this direction now. So we're getting closer. I felt pretty confident in this when we got to that point. And I created a full-size design of this. And I printed it in different colors so that you could see the way that works. But what I didn't like about this was that you can actually actuate this lever here without really releasing the coin. So I realized that if this plastic piece went entirely around this pivot, that would give it a little bit more control. You would have a little bit more positive control of the penny, holding it and releasing it. The next few versions actually had a pivot that was a complete circle, and the lever actually went completely around that pivot so that you had more control of it here. So I was really happy with that design, and I thought this was going to be the finished version because we could put a rubber band in between these 2 pieces here and hold that closed. That would ensure that the penny had positive control at all times and it was positively held. And again, we would know exactly when to release it by pushing on that lever, and the penny would fall out. Again, I can show how that works here, in theory. So without doing anything, it's holding on to the penny, and when you push the lever, the penny is released. So I really thought that this was the finished version and I was going to run with this. And I even created a working prototype here where it had the 3 positions and they all worked properly, and I could put the rubber bands in there. The thing that I don't like about this, though, is that there's just too many parts. Again, one of my design criteria is that we reduce the part count as much as possible. And right now, this piece has 4 parts plus 3 rubber bands that would go into these holes here. And so all told, that is 7 pieces to create this final piece. And that is just the first part that I designed really for the robot. So if we need 7 pieces every time I create something for this finished robot, that part count is going to increase exponentially. That got me thinking about how to, if I could print this entire thing in place, that would be a huge boon. I was trying to do some testing to see if I could print these parts in place on top of this piece. If I could do that, then I could call all of this a single piece, and then I would just have the 3 rubber bands to attach. But in my testing, I was not able to get to a point where I could actually print everything in one piece and still have the parts move. My printer, I haven't quite figured out how to do a layer this thin on top of another and still have the ability to rotate these pieces around. What this ended up being was just another solid piece. I mean, I should have just printed out this solid piece for all that this does. Again, this looks like what we had just shown you with the red and black parts, but again, none of these pieces move now. If you press on any of this lever here, it doesn't really do anything because all of these are fused together. So that just made me want to start from scratch. In the next video, I'm going to continue working on that compliant mechanism that I'm hopeful will reduce the overall part count of the finished machine. But for now, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, everyone, and stay awesome. Hey everyone, it's Future Me. I just wanted to take a moment to say that I've been doing some work on our website at thecoinbot.com. There you can find the latest blog articles about coin collecting, the latest developments in machine learning, and get early access to my YouTube videos.